Welcome to Frame by Frame, a series celebrating the dynamic voices of filmmakers across New York City. I'm Walter Krochmal, founder and executive director of Bronx World Film, a New York-based nonprofit dedicated to promoting art house cinema and global cultural exchange. In this episode, you will meet three filmmakers who have participated in Bronx World Film programming, whose films provide fresh glimpses at cultural memory, mythic transformation, and the resilience of everyday life. Let's meet them. Hyonok Kim is an award-winning filmmaker and choreographer who creates films exploring expressive movement and atmosphere. Born in South Korea, she studied film and dance in Paris and New York and has taught at Keimyang University. Her work has screened at international festivals worldwide. Hyonok is the director of Ode on a Korean Urn. Tessa Brinckman is a New Zealand flutist and composer based in New York City, blending technology, cross-cultural traditions, and contemporary performance. She has presented her work internationally in concerts, installations, animation, and theater. Known for her surreal style, humor, and political edge, Tessa is the co-director of The Gorgon Cycles with Devon McConaughey and Miles Inada. Vibol Sungkriem, born in Cambodia, grew up in New York City after fleeing the Civil War and developed a passion for filmmaking. He studied at the City College of New York and has experience in directing, cinematography, and post-production across shorts, music videos, and documentaries. Vibol is the director of Farmer's Life. Welcome to Frame by Frame. Welcome and thanks for joining us at Frame by Frame. I'm here with the filmmakers and we're going to start by learning about the film. So I would love to open the conversation with you, Hyonok Kim, director of Ode on a Korean Urn. Hyonok, what is your film about?
Ode on a Korean Urn deals with an urn and it's a daily life object. We preserve kimchi and bean paste within. And I wanted to take this object and make a tool of communication. So I set the two rules, strike with the drum, make a sound, make a percussion. And another action is to listen. And I wanted to use camera movement, panning. And with this panning, it can across continent, across many landscapes.
So what do your films tell us about your culture and your worldview?
So my turning point in my artistic career is the encounter with the composer Lee Sang-yoon. He is considered as the greatest composer together with Stravinsky. And when I met him, first thing he said was his music is based on Korean three-word philosophy. In Korean, Samge Sasang. It's heaven, earth, and human. Human are living between two worlds. And so in his music, the heaven is always higher than humans reach. So his high octave goes higher, higher. And musician has to play miracle. So I applied this philosophy in my film. Like Ode on a Korean Urn, camera goes up and then it was connecting earth and heaven.
You have been making film, dance-based experimental films for most of your career. How has that genre of filmmaking changed in the time that you have been producing your films?
Well, I've been making this genre for 30 years. I started in France, Paris. In the beginning, it was called video dance, and collaborate between filmmaker and choreographer. And then gradually I wanted to direct my own choreography in film. So I signed up to New York Film Academy. I learned film directing. And since then, I directed 10 of film. And I wanted to make a new language combining expressive dance movement, music, set, and atmosphere. And the theme is important. So I made a film when I had a strong urge. And when I only have an inner strong feeling, I can convey to audience, steer a strong emotion. It's like Kandinsky said, it's inner necessity. And also my motto in artistic the film is, Schopenhauer said, art is tiger's rage in a beautiful silk cage. So I wanted to express strong emotion through beauty. And through this, I wanted to bring healing to audience.
Let us watch a clip from Ode on a Korean Urn by Hyonok Kim. And now to Tessa Brinckman, co-director of the Gorgon Cycles.
Hello.
Welcome, Tessa. How are you? Tell me about your film. What's it about?
It's about our current apocalypse, and it has magical characters in it, a magician that represents our innocence, monkeys and dinosaurs and cats, and also the idea of our fluid identities as human beings.
The Gorgons we know as the three sisters from Greek mythology, portrayed as gargoyles on the Parthenon. So tell us a little bit about how you come about your unusual take on those figures in your film.
Well, I guess you could call it unusual, but I know a lot of women who would disagree that the Medusa is a very powerful and positive image. So my first encounter with the Medusa actually was in the Basilica cistern in Istanbul, where she's upside down at the bottom of the cistern, underwater, which I thought was incredible. So I took pictures, and we used those pictures in our animation. And Miles and I decided that we really wanted this idea of her reclaiming our humanity, our sanity, our sense of sovereignty over our bodies and our land. And so in this animation, she's the hero, actually. And her rage is a very positive thing, that she, you know, in a very typical sort of ancient Greek fashion, she sort of restores the story from hubris to balance.
So you already spoke about your creative process, very interesting. So it starts out with a musical score.
Yes.
And then it becomes a film. Talk to us about, I mean, that's kind of a different way of generating a project, right? Tell
Right.
us tell us about that specific creative process.
So I've always loved film and colour, and I have synesthesia actually. So when I hear sound, I see colour, and vice versa. So for me, they've always been married together. So I really just wanted, I've always just wanted to create visual things, and I knew Miles, and Miles is a wonderful creative person in Southern Oregon who he has Japanese heritage, so he's inspired by traditional Japanese art as well as anime, and a great sense of humor, and Devon loves to draw. So, you know, I love the idea of storytelling, basically. And also, you know, with a newly composed music, another way to reach out to people is through the visual media. And when you marry those two things together, it's very powerful. You can get new audiences, new kinds of layers of meaning also when you have a score and a visual media together. So for me, it's just all one writhing kind of artistic media.
And you talk about the film as being violently optimistic. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, that was actually Miles's term, but I'll try and explain it in several ways. Really, it's acknowledgement. It goes beyond liberal hand-wringing to a kind of acknowledgement that things are so dire that in order for things to change, there needs to be real change, right? How do we stop, you know, 98% of the wildlife becoming extinct? How do we change things? And so it's kind of really being able to assess ourselves honestly about what we need to do in order to create a world that we actually want to live in, right? Rather than one that's been thrust upon us through technological change that is so fast and furious that we can't keep up. How much of this have we all chosen? So we need to ask ourselves really serious questions about these. And it's also a sense of energy and optimism in the sense that when we really put our hearts and minds into it, we can do things. We've shown this to ourselves over and over again. We just need to have the collective clarity and willingness to do it, and you know, all together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tessa Brinckman, let's now watch a selection from the Gorgon Cycles. And now, Vibol Sungkriem, director of Farmer's Life. Welcome, Vibol. Tell us, what is your film about?
Basically, his Farmer's Life is based on a Cambodian farmer in Battambang. Small groups of farmers struggling, trying to find market for their produce. So basically, it's a struggle to trying to get their produce to the mass market, and the struggle of how they live their life daily from day to day, and trying to create something for themselves and their family, and at the same time, you know, trying to keep it afloat from falling apart. So that's their daily struggle life that I wanted to show, you know, how people in Cambodian, you know, struggle through hardship and uncertain future.
Now, you returned to Cambodia after an absence of almost a lifetime. And I want to know, first, was this trip a trip you had intended to make anyway? Was this a trip you were going to make at some point? Or
Yes.
did it just so happen?
At some point, I would like to go back, but it just happened unexpectedly. And because of the opportunity, I figured, either I go now, I go later, either way, I might as well just take this opportunity to go and also take the opportunity to study and record some of the daily life of Cambodian so that I can formulate for my future story that I would like to go back and do.
So you spoke about expectations, and I want to address that. When you went there, what were you expecting, and what did you find, and what surprised you the most?
It's a good question. I don't know what to expect because I never been there. I only saw it through videos and things like that. So I just kind of went there blind, not knowing what to expect or how to act, because even though I am Cambodian, but I haven't been there for so long that I couldn't adjust myself to how it is. Because, at one point I was telling a friend of mine that I'm Cambodian, but he said, "You're not." And then he asked me, "Tell me something about Cambodian," which I couldn't tell him. And then said, "You see, you're not Cambodian." So when I went there, I couldn't figure out like how to act or behave, because we act and talk differently. So I took the time to kind of learn a little bit about it. And once I get used to how they are and what they expect and how they communicate with you, and just kind of adjust that day by day. So you're going in there not expecting anything, then came out with like, wow, I just learned something, different and new. And I thought I'm Cambodian, but I guess I'm not. So.
What happened to the once thriving Cambodian community of the Bronx, which a lot of people don't know about? That's where you came from. What happened to that community?
Well, we used to have a lot in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. I believe roughly about 10,000 something. But in the mid-90s, a lot of the people moved out due to different circumstances, whether it's jobs or environment or, first-time home owner. So people just kind of move out according to whatever it is that they, feel like it's best for their interest at the time. So, and throughout the year, people just kind of follow that trend. And now that I look into it, there's about 2,000 something left from 10,000 something. So
in the Bronx?
In the Bronx,
still.
in the Bronx still. So that's why we don't really have a voice, because there's not many of us left to actually organize anything. And not many people know Cambodian. So when you tell them Cambodian, there's still a lot of people ask, who, what, where? So, I hope this will kind of, shed light on to Cambodian community a little bit, and will help people will understand, where Cambodian came from.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vibol Sungkriem. And now, let's watch a selection of Farmer's Life.
យ៉ាងណាក៏ឆ្ងាញ់ដែរទីតាគ្រូយើងនេះយ៉ាងណាក៏មានជាតិដែរខ្មែរសុទ្ធហើយចំតួហើយគ្មានស្អីនេះទេហ្នឹងអង្គុយហ្នឹងអង្គុយចិត្តឲ្យធ្វើចិត្តធម្មជាតិចិត្តឲ្យហូបគឺកងខាំហើយមានទេអែមកហ្នឹងថា
ពួកនេះគេហៅសកាក្តាមអានេះថាវាស្ទើទុំស្ទើខ្ចីអានេះគេហៅសកាក្តាមអានេះទុំណាឃើញក្រហមខុសគ្នាទេហើយបដូលវាមើលរឿងលហោសណាអានេះវាទុំបលអ្នកភ្លក់
បាទអ្នកដាក់មួយសិនមើលហេផ្អែមណា
នេះភ្លក់អាទុំនេះមើល
អានោះពេក
ហ្នឹងមិនដែរខុសគ្នាទេ
ខុសគ្នា
ហ្នឹងខុសគ្នា
អានេះវារឿងផ្អែម
រឿងមាត់បន្តិច
រឿងមាត់បន្តិចនេះវាផ្អែមជូរអែម
រឿងជូរអែមហ្នឹងហើយអានេះបើនិយាយពីខ្ចីវិញនេះខ្ញុំចិត្តឲ្យមើលមួយណាបង
បាទ
នេះអានេះនិយាយពីរឿងនេះប៉ានេះខ្ចី
សាច់វាឌីមិន
ឃើញទេឡើងខៀវ
មើល
ខុសគ្នាឆ្ងាយណា
នេះដូចចង់ស្តៀងក្រូចឆ្មាទៅ
ហ្នឹងហើយវាខ្ចីហើយជូរបើគេហៅថាបើបែមទេ
ចង់ដាក់សាជូរនេះមើល
ដាក់សាជូរមួយទៀតមើល
ក្រមកខាំទៀតណា
ក្រងខាំនេះកាមេរ៉ាជូរឯង
អានេះរៀងជូរ
ចាជូរបើបែមទេ
បាទរៀងជូរ
It was great having your films in the Bronx World Film series. Now I'd love to share a brief overview of our organization with our audience. Bronx World Film is a nonprofit dedicated to showcasing innovative cinema and empowering emerging filmmakers. For over 14 years, we've created opportunities for youth, women, and people of color, helping their films reach wider audiences. Our work champions artful storytelling that inspires communities and advances the cultural impact of arthouse film. And while I have you here, how has Bronx World Film affected or helped or impacted your work as a filmmaker?
I'm very grateful for Bronx Film Cycle. You invited me my film, and then it helped me to have a networking and also distribution and presenting. You always help me to present my new film. It was like a platform to to present the film and communicate with other filmmakers in the world.
Thank you, Hyonok. This is all about community. The same question for you, Tessa.
Yes, well, you and I have only just met in person today, but we were corresponding last year, and you very kindly invited me to have Gorgon Cycles on one of your film nights, and then we were talking about what it would mean to have interdisciplinary collaborations. So it's been lovely chatting with you about possibilities and the way that Bronx Film really is interested in reaching out to people. It's exciting, I think, what the work that you're doing.
Thank you. And for you, Vibol, as well, your screening with Bronx World Film, what effect has that had on your work?
Well, quite a lot, because, we've known each other for quite a while, right? And, every time when you reach out and ask for some project, whatever I have, I always, send it over to you and see what you can do with it. But to my surprise, you did a lot for me, because I'm usually like out of New York doing stuff, and I never really have a foot in New York or anything presented in New York until you came along, Bronx World Film. And then, here I am doing something that I didn't really expect to do or to be here at all, to be honest. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the studio. I'm grateful to you and your organization.
And we are grateful to you all for your mastery. So very quickly, what are you working on currently? Hyonok?
Beauty and violence. So in Korea, democracy is achieved now, but we were going through under dictatorship. Many young and old people tortured and suffered and died. And I have a great empathy for them. In my next film, I'd like to treat their wound.
Beautiful. Tessa?
Well, I'm just in the process of setting up a new chamber music group and concert series next year, which is very exciting, and writing a piece for flute and guitar. But I'm also creating my first stop animation piece myself, yes, for a piece I wrote, and I'll be doing that next year. So I'm very excited. It's a lot to do, a lot to learn.
Commendable. So you are full into film now.
I guess so.
Yeah. The film world is richer for it. And Vibol, what do you have cooking?
Always have something cooking, right? Yeah, I'm working on the feature film. I'm writing it, basically. The working title is A Walk in the Rice Field. It's a love story, based drama, and a little bit of comedy. And I'm also currently editing a documentary called The Artist's Dream. So I have those two, going at the moment. So hopefully I can get this feature script done and get things going by next year.
Well, it looks like our time has come to a close. I want to thank you all. Thank you, Hyonok Kim, Tessa Brinckman, and Vibol Sungkriem for a fun and enriching conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this fascinating discussion as well. You can catch these films and a selection of others from Bronx World Film on Frame by Frame, found on CUNY TV's YouTube channel and the CUNY TV app. Also, please follow Bronx World Film on social media to stay up to date with upcoming events. Enjoy watching.